your cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play down Fraggle Rock. Work your cares away, dancing's for another day.
Hello and welcome to a special bonus episode of Disney Movie Investigation. This is an ongoing bonus series as we take a look at the series that we remember growing up. On this episode, we are going to a beloved 80s favorite as we take a look at the Fraggles, produced by Jim Henson. And if you are enjoying these episodes, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new episode. Now, sit back and enjoy this bonus episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we are covering the Fraggle Rock. This was created by Jim Henson. It aired on different networks depending on which area of the world you were living in. In Canada, it aired on CBC. In the US, it aired on HBO. And in the UK, it aired on Children's ITV. The production companies was Henson Associates, and it aired from January 10th, 1983 to March 30th, 1987. And it had a total number of 96 episodes. In terms of the production, the show was an international collaboration of US, Canada, and UK studios. The show was always intended to be an international production that included 4 different human segments to each episode to be filmed and aired in different areas or different countries. The show debuted in 1983 and was the first show from Henson International Television. The filming of the actual Muppet part of the show took place in Toronto on sound stages, and Henson would describe the show as a high-energy musical romp. A lot of silliness, but it is wonderful. The goal was to be accessible to all audiences and involved themes that would be relatable to all parts of the world, and these included prejudice, spirituality, and the environment. In terms of the international co-productions, so the human segments of the show would be different depending on where the show was being broadcast. For the American and Canadian broadcast, the segment would contain an inventor named Doc with his dog Sprocket, who was a puppet performer. The UK broadcast had Fraggle Rock located on a rock-filled sea island, and the humor performer named the Captain, who lives with his dog Sprocket. In France, the location was changed to a bakery where Doc was a baker and Sprocket would be renamed Croquette. So it was kind of interesting that the show would be different depending on which area of the world you were watching in. In terms of the characters of the show, the show had 3 main sets of characters. First being the Fraggles, which are anamorphic characters that are typically medium-sized that come in a variety of colors and have a puffy tail. They live a carefree life of exploring and discovering, and they eat radishes and dozer sticks. They will often seek help from the trash heap, who is an older lady who gives spiritual advice. The main Fraggles of the show are Gobo, Moki, Red, Boomer, Boober, and Wembley. The second set of characters is the Dozers, and these are a small species of small humanoid creatures that love to build things around Fraggle Rock. They are round, pudgy, green characters that are about 6 inches tall, and they are dedicated to working and using grounded up radishes to build clear structures. And the last set of characters is the Gorgs, and they are outside of Fraggle Rock, and they are a family. They are fat, furry, giant creatures. There is a husband and a wife called Ma and Pa, along with their son Junior. The Fraggles will often steal radishes from their garden, and the Gorgs attempt to catch the Fraggles. Each episode also contained a segment that involved Traveling Matt, and this was a postcard who was Gobo's uncle, and he'd be traveling the human world. His postcard would be read to the audience explaining a human activity in a weird way. Examples of these included skateboarding, cars, eating mirrors, or eating, as well as mirrors, and different activities that they would kind of like an alien type way. So in terms of the plot of the show, Dog and his dog Sprocket have a hole in the wall behind which little furry creatures known as Fraggles live in a place called Fraggle Rock. The rock is also home to the Dozers, who are knee-high to a Fraggle, and Gorgs, who are giants and think they rule the rock. One gang of Fraggles, Gobo, Moki, Wembley, Boomer, and Red, under the guidance of the all-knowing trash heap, learn about each other and their neighbors, and eventually befriend the Dozers, the Gorgs, and even Doc and Sprocket. Meanwhile, the Goebel's Uncle Matt explores outer space and sends postcards to his nephews about the silly creatures, being the humans. In terms of the broadcast history, the CBC HBO versions of the series would end up being broadcast in 95 different countries. The show would air ultimately for 5 seasons, ending in 1987, but the show would run on reruns on various networks, including TNT, the Disney Channel, and Odyssey Network. The show would be released in packaged episodes on VHS in various countries. Full season compilations would be released from 2006 to 2009, with a complete series being released in 2018. Because of the popularity of the show, an animated series was added in 1987, and it aired on NBC Saturday morning for 1 season. The characters of Doc, Sprocket, Wimbley, Boomer, Mokey, Red, and Uncle Traveling Matt would all make a cameo appearances in Muppets Family Christmas. Doc and Sprocket are guests at Fozzie's mother's house, while the Fraggles sing a song with Kermit and Robin. In 2012, the Jim Henson Company and DHX Media announced a CGI animated series called Dozers. Targeted at children 4 to 7, this would follow the characters Spike, Mollybot, Flex, and Daisy, and it would begin airing on April 25th, 2014. In September 2005, the Jim Henson Company announced a Fraggle Rock feature film. This movie was set to be released in 2009, and in May of 2008, it was announced that the Weinstein Company would distribute the film as a musical directed by Corey Edwards. The story would feature the Fraggles interacting in the real world. Delays occurred, and in October of 2011, it was announced that the Scissor Sisters had been hired to write the music for the film. Also in October 2011, the Weinstein Company lost the rights, and New Regency would pick up the rights with 20th Century Fox distributing. More delays. In March of 2015, it was announced that Joseph Gordon-Levitt would be producing the film, as well as being a lead actor. In October of 2018, Levitt would announce that the film is still in development, but the film would ultimately be canceled and reworked as a series, Fraggle Rock, Back to the Rock. This series aired on Apple TV and was produced at the Calgary Film Center in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. In April of 2020, a series of shorts was created with the Fraggles called Fraggle Rock, Rock On. These shorts would show the Fraggles practicing social distancing and was shot using the artist's smartphone in their own home. So in terms of the legacy, each episode would feature music written by Dennis Lee and Philip Balsam, and KOCH Records would release Fraggle Rockin', a collection, on October 30th, 2007, and this was a 3-disc set which would feature remastered songs used in the original series. The Fraggles also would appear in several novels aimed at young children, and Star Comics would produce 2 comic series based on the Fraggles in 1985 and 1988. In 2010, Archaea Studio Press would produce several comic book series based on the Fraggles as well. The Fraggles would continue to pop up in various Jim Henson Company projects throughout the years, including Muppets Take Manhattan and a music video actually for Ben Folds 5. So memories of the show. I never really watched the show growing up. I was kind of more of a Muppet Show person as opposed to a Fraggle, but I did recently rewatch season 1. The show is very colorful and very engaging, with many of the characters showing different personalities that really relates to a youth audience. I really like the music as it's incorporated well into the show, and it usually involves a theme, either being the environment or not judging people, like just a general film, which is really good at the youth. Personally, like I said, I prefer the Muppet characters, but I think this series has a lot to offer to young viewers and creates a positive theme for them to engage in. So definitely recommend it. So thank you so much for joining us here on this bonus episode of Disney Movie Investigation. I would invite anyone to please leave a comment below on what they think of Fraggle Rock. And as we look forward to our next bonus episode, we will be taking a look at a Disney Channel original series when we take a look at the Proud Family. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.